So I decided it was about time for me to give my input on ROADHOG and pretty much just what Blizzard has done with him in the most recent patch and kind of where he's been in the past. So I guess it's best to start out with the role that ROADHOG has always filled and how he was in previous patches. So there's kind of been always two main styles that ROADHOG has always been played in. He's always been either with a main tank area or he's been like a flank style. Normally when he's like with the main group, he just plays to spam shields and to get hooks once those shields are broken. Or when he's on flank, his goal is literally just to get picks off of like squishy heroes and open up a push for his teams. I normally played more of the flank style, but either style was both very effective, and you could really run them either way. And it wasn't like set in stone. Like it's not like you had to be like, oh, you are a flank hog player or you are a combo hog player. You could literally switch between the two on the fly. It was just those were the two main styles that was always with them. With the recent patch though, that's kind of put him in a weird spot where he really doesn't have an identity now. Now ROADHOG, it's like either one of those styles. There's other heroes that excel at the role better than he does. Like for tank shredding and stuff now, Reaper is just better than ROADHOG. Reaper will always also beat ROADHOG in a one-on-one pretty much now. So he's just outclassed in that area. And if you try and do like flank stuff with ROADHOG now, with how much weaker you are and how much weaker your hook combo is, it just puts you in a much riskier spot where there's a chance that you don't even get the one-shot combo on the target that you hook just because of how much more inconsistent it is. If you don't kill that target, you're just going to come and get killed and just die for nothing. So it's a lot riskier doing that also. So the change that Blizzard did in the recent patches just put him in a spot where he doesn't excel at anything and he's not even really great at anything. I'm not saying you can't make him work at all. Like, I can still play ROADHOG in ranked and still make him work somewhat, but there's just better options always now, and it's obvious that he's extremely underpowered compared to almost any other hero out there. If you look at like his win rate, his kill rate, everything like that, it just I know what they were going for with the change, but it's obvious like after just a week and a half or however long it's been that he's just way too underpowered with it. And so honestly, there's a couple ways I could see balancing Hog that would make him stronger, but not make him as annoying to play against like he was before. Because according to what Jeff said, the main reason they nerfed him was that they just thought the one-shot mechanic with his hook was really unfun to play against, which I find a really dumb argument actually, because there's plenty of other mechanics in the game that people could find unfun, such as scatter arrow, mercy res. Like there's tons of things that if you look at it from like a pure gameplay mechanic, you'd be like, wow, that sounds really dumb. Like mercy res, it's favoring people literally dying. Like your goal is to die to get effectiveness out of it. So it's like there's just a lot of mechanics like that are unfun to play against, but have been left untouched pretty much. But some of my ideas for like a balance change to make it more viable would be like give him more armor. Like even though I always suggest that like he needs to be tankier somehow, which people always say like, oh, he has 600 HP already, which is true. He has like some of the most health in the game, but he's extremely slow and immobile. And again, that's all HP also. It's no armor, it's no shields, it's all just health. And with how strong Zenyatta is also in the current meta, it leads the Hog just getting shredded against most like dive comps that run Zen. So even though it wouldn't really fit into the lore as much, he just needs something to make him a bit more tanky, which could lead him to be a bit more viable. So it could be either armor, which I think would be the best option, even though again it doesn't really go with his whole skin, or give him more HP. But then I think having just like 800 HP would look really weird. But either one of those, he somehow just needs to be tankier and have like more survivability. Or the one option I think they should go with is just making him do slightly more damage to make it possible to one-shot 200 HP heroes still. Because, like it or not, Hook is still like the core part of his identity. Like his hook combo is still what ROADHOG is. And to be able to not even consistently use your hook to one-shot like a McCree or anything is just bad design right now. So just make him do slightly more damage so you can still consistently one-shot those 200 HP heroes, but leave it so like Reaper or Mei would be extremely hard. if they don't want to go with that, if Blizzard's like convinced that hook and everything is like a bad gameplay mechanic, then they can just like remove it entirely and like rework ROADHOG altogether. Like if Blizzard doesn't want to have the whole hook mechanic, then they need to just rework him somehow. But the way he is right now, where you can't even consistently use your hook, which is what he's designed to do, then it just doesn't make sense. And that pretty much just leads me to like Blizzard's overall thought on balancing. It feels like Blizzard is trying to cater too much to like lower SR and like the Blizzard forums also. They're like taking that input instead of like balancing around pro play or high SR games like most other games do. Like if you look like League of Legends and Dota and all of those, they don't bounce around like bronze or silver level players. They bounce, at the top where players know what is the strongest, actually what works the best. And it feels like Blizzard doesn't do that quite as much. I know Blizzard does ask pros like their input sometimes, but it feels like they don't always take it into account fully. And it's just also frustrating that, there's other mechanics that could be seen just as annoying as ROADHOG's hook combo that have left completely untouched. When they're also a much smaller part of the hero's identity. Like Scatter Arrow, that's just a small part of Hanzo, while hook combo is like the main part of ROADHOG. So, it's ultimately it is what it is with it, I guess. And I know Jeff has said recently that they are looking at buffing ROADHOG some. They did think he was a bit underpowered. But I hope it just doesn't take too long for them to get to it with how some of their balancing cycles take. It's obvious that he is underpowered. Playing him longer, like giving him another 2 or 3 weeks of testing, isn't going to magically raise his win rate or his his kill rate or anything like that. It's just that's the way he is now. So that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Yeah, I try to do this a lot more like impromptu than some of my other videos where I read off of a script. This one was kind of me just doing it on the fly. But I decided it was time for me to weigh in on the subject, considering I have always been like a ROADHOG main, and he's been one of my favorite heroes to play. But yeah, thank you guys all for watching.